All right, I just hit the button, so we're on, man.
Sweet, we're live.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it earlier. It's like I almost wish we could do a live. I've never done that before, but for a conversation like this, it would be kind of interesting. I guess before we go too far in, though, let's find out who the hell you are. I'll be honest. I know next to nothing about you except for the content that you put out, and
Right.
you put out some interesting videos. I think we'll get into that a little bit, but I don't know, like just tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so obviously I'm known for asking people they're vaccinated. And I'd say, that started in high school, that interest to go up to people and like do these interviews. Um, I mean, there's a lot to it, right? But as far as, figuring out about me, are you saying, how I started, what got me interested in talking to people?
Well,
Maybe
okay, I guess
down.
I'm curious about, like, is this how you make a living? You're a content creator
Oh, right.
on TikTok primarily, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, on TikTok right now. So
Okay. But you're also on Instagram. That's where I found you. I'm not on TikTok personally. But is that what you do for a living?
yeah, no, I'd say it's more of a hobby. Definitely a
Okay.
hobby. Um, Still, it's tough to make money and monetize with social media unless you got pretty large following. However, I'm finding new avenues to make money and whatnot. But right now, I know it's more of a hobby. I don't really ever look at something like this as a profession because, you never know. I think it's more just what I enjoy. I definitely like to pursue it as something like a career path in the future. But right now, it's like take it day by day. I believe in, like you talked about living in the present. You just get done. You got to think about what you're going to do right now instead of in the future. And then the future kind of just reveals itself. That's kind of how I perceive it a bit. But yeah, right now I just work a couple of jobs, do some online classes, learning more about marketing and how to expand my brand and whatnot. So yeah, it's definitely it's fairly new, but I definitely plan to take it to the next level. It started out, so I was going to school in Colorado, right around Boulder, and I had this like fun idea. I'm like, I should talk with the homeless community around Boulder. Nobody talk. I feel like they get disrespected, and not many people chat with them. And so I was like, you know what, grab the buddy I just met down in Boulder, and I'm like, let's go chat with these homeless folks. So we and kind of make a little video out of it, dig into their life and see what's up with them. And so buddy and I made some waffles, went out, talked to the homeless in Boulder, Colorado. And from there, I'd say that's where it kicked off. That's when I got into creating this content as almost like a journalist per se, and almost bringing someone's life to light. So
Well,
that's where,
I
yeah.
saw in your Instagram bio that you labeled yourself a journalist. So I wasn't sure if that was something you went to school for, or if it's just you're kind of, you're obviously doing like man on the street style
Yeah.
interviews. And
Right.
your videos are very like quick and well edited. That's something I want to ask about a little bit later, maybe, sort of how you edit your videos.
Okay.
But I guess my point is that you seem to have a knack for it, like whether or not you went to school. And I found your videos pretty like interesting, just in that you're genuinely kind of interviewing people of all shapes and sizes and backgrounds, and
Right.
sort of like a total cross section of America. Are you in one city in particular, or are you like traveling around to interview folks?
Yeah. So I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mhm.
That's where I'd say that's when the vaccine interview started. However, I did live in Boulder. I plan to get, different states. I'm sure there's different opinions wherever you travel about. But yeah, Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where I grew up and still living here. It's been cold as hell, but
Yeah,
we're
yeah. We're finally getting some spring here in
where are you from, Indiana? Okay.
Indiana. Yeah. But
Gotcha.
it's interesting though what you were saying about the homeless thing. I just did a couple of episodes. I was out in Bend, Oregon, and I found myself, kind of similarly, just like stumbled into this like as a topic. But yeah, we went around, we talked to some homeless folks. I found myself in the middle of this town hall meeting, if you will, like kind of an informal public forum where that was the topic of discussion because it's gotten so out of hand. And so I thought it was kind of just interesting to watch and try to get a read on like all sides of the issue. And that sort of seems like what you're trying to do with these interviews. Like, I guess I find them interesting because you almost don't talk. Yeah, you ask the question and then you just let the people talk,
Right.
which is a cool strategy. And I got to say, there's this look that you have a way of giving the camera where you kind of just raise your eyebrow at somebody's like response. It's hilarious, like,
I tend to line that up with certain responses. Exactly.
yeah. So that brings me to the question of like, how much editing do you do? And like, is everything chronological? I would suppose probably not, right?
Like, so are you talking about breaking up a video
Like,
and
for,
moving?
for example, that funny look you give the camera, do you kind of
Yeah.
like just clip that in wherever you think it would be funny, or is that kind of
Actually, I
genuine?
don't. No, I kind of, when I'm talking with the person, it'll be a genuine, like, okay, what she's talking about right now is in need of a little expression here.
A little emphasis, yeah.
Yeah, checking out the camera, and yeah. So it's not like completely staged, if you will. I know a lot of content creators do that,
Right.
and it's kind of like for the entertainment, if you will. There have been times where I'll take because obviously TikTok, you want to get big on TikTok, you definitely want to have those first 3 seconds of the video kind of attention grabber, grab the person in. And so that's where I say, okay, I want a pretty juicy piece of content here. We're going to put it right in front. And then that maybe will kick off the interview. And then from there, it's like we filter in all the other people interviewed that day and kind of, I go for a back and forth type of, I'm sure anyone who watches, you can see how I go from one, opinion to the other. And we kind of dish it back and forth. It's kind of like almost a debate, but it's not even a debate. So
well, the two people never cross paths. You're right. The one, you ask one question, you get two very, very different responses.
Yeah.
So, I know you said basically, when you said when we were messaging back and forth, that you're not really interested in talking about the vaccine, I kind of figured I knew what you meant because I don't really care to talk about the vaccine either. I'm way more interested to talk about basically all the issues that surround the vaccine. I've said 100 million times already, like, I don't give a fuck what you do, as long as you don't give a fuck what I do.
Right.
I mean, is that more or less sort of where you stand on the issue?
Totally. Yeah, no, I'm never pushing any side of anything. I kind of keep to myself. I know what I believe in. That's all that's all we're in control of. I think it's like, I believe this. I can't force someone to believe anything. I can try to push a message and, say, hey, if you're going to come to me and ask me what I'm about, I'll tell you, but I'm not going to put it on you. And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's happened a lot in this world where it's like people are taking their opinions and just shove it in your face. And so for me, I try to stay a bit more reserved, if you will.
Well, you almost don't need to express your opinion.
Yeah.
Kind of like just you provide the space. It's something that's almost rare now with like journalism. Now I'm sure anybody that watches your videos is going to come to the conclusion that you do have a sort of stance of sorts.
Right. And I let the viewer do that. If you want to take it,
right.
If you want to take a, sincere interest into my content, you can go click on my Instagram and, find out a little bit more. I think a lot of these platforms are very controlled. And so you got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to spread a message, but it's more of an indirect deal that I'm going for, because if you're too direct nowadays, you're going down,
It
It's
turns people off. Yeah, you have to like let people draw their own conclusions. I
right.
agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the minute you're pushing something right in someone's face, it's almost turn off. That's what I've realized with, I kind of look at how, when I'm interested in to any YouTuber or content creator, that's what I'm drawn to. And so almost I'm like, that's what I want to do, instead of kind of like right in your face, shove in your face type of approach.
Well, it's like I was thinking earlier, it's like that's what journalism is supposed to be. Just present the facts, within the context of the situation, whatever it happens
Yeah,
to be, wherever you happen to be, whoever you are. Like, I kind of believe in, you almost have to just own your bias while you're at it too. In a sense, like, if you put on airs about being 100% objective and like, I have no bias here, that's almost like disingenuous. But you can basically give people that context and say, here's where I'm coming from. This is the information that I've gathered, and do with it what you will. Like, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I've seen and what I believe, to some extent.
exactly. And I
So
try not to, because some people, any viewer maybe who, like, I've got a lot of people that say, hey, you're purposely making this side look stupid, right? And like almost trying to manipulate content to make something look stupid. I've gotten a lot of that. And it's like, you don't, the viewer doesn't know much from just watching a video. Like I said, you hop on the page, you look through everything, you'll realize I'm just presenting authentic opinions on certain topics, aka the vaccine. I've been doing some newer ones like the legalization of cannabis, but it's like I'm just presenting what these folks believe in, that you're walking by every day, grocery shopping next to, and it's a vast, people are vastly different, and that's due to maybe what they consume. If that's news, if that's certain, they follow certain like social media content creators that like push heavily on one side. You can easily, I've noticed, if you really tap into some of these content creators that push one side, before you know it, you're part of their tribe, their army.
Mhm.
And did you really think for yourself?
Like I said, clearly you're doing like man on the street interviews,
Yeah.
which I like, because it's like that appeals to my voluntarist side.
Okay. So
Nobody's saying anything to you without express knowledge that they're being recorded, right? You've got the microphone right in front of them.
I got the camera microphone right in their face,
Right.
full consent. They know where it's going. And so I think it's all about the approach. When I talk to these people in the street, respectfully approach them, you got to tell them what you're doing. You got to be very, like, I think the more straightforward you are with someone, the more they will trust you and believe, hey, this is straight up. This guy's like, we're cut the shit. We're getting straight into it. I'm talking about something serious to the public, and we just want to grab your opinion for a video. And nobody does that. And that's why I think people will think this is fake, or not fake, but this is manipulated content. Like, I'm perfectly making, we have to realize is I'm essentially just breaking up 2 interviews, typically. Sometimes it's like 5 or 6, and you're just pretty much chopping it up and then putting it right on top of each other.
Yep.
And then it just kind of bounces back and forth. Put a little music in the background, obviously for engagement. I want it to reach a lot of people. That's the end game. I want to pursue something like this and monetize, and because I enjoy doing it. And so, yeah, I think it's a combination of having a good editing process, good editing system. Doesn't mean it's fake, manipulated, lies. It's quite literally just straight truth, but it just expressing really like vastly different opinions, which makes it engaging, like we talked about. But looks like these guys, you said, were manipulating their content, or
Well, so they get accused of basically doing like manipulative editing, but it's kind of the same as what you're describing, where they're just cutting to the juicy bits,
right?
but
That's
they're
it.
not they're not inventing anything